Hi guys, so in today's video I will be talking about the time that I almost got scammed while abroad in Belgium. So earlier this year, back in January when we could travel, I went to Belgium. It was for a school slash networking slash business type of trip, and the first city that we went to was Belgium. About a month before the trip started, we all got an email with our schedules on where we were going and the different business visits every day. And we actually had 2 days where it was free. The first day that we landed, it was like a free day. We could do whatever. And so was the second day. So while I was in the Chicago airport area, I actually ran into the girl who was going to be my roommate on the trip. We're going to call her Banana, because that's the nickname I gave her. So I was asking her, I was like, what did you want to do on one of the free days? And she's like, I really want to go to Antwerp in this brewery. She had a friend that went to Antwerp and there was a brewery, and he was apparently talking about how it was the greatest brewery out there, and this girl is a beer type of girl. That's what she drinks, and so she really wanted to visit. I was like, cool, I've always wanted to visit Antwerp, we can go there together. So once we did land in Belgium and we met with everyone else that was on the trip, we were just like, oh, do you guys want to go to Antwerp tomorrow for the brewery? And everyone was like, yes. I obviously don't drink alcohol. I don't go to breweries, so I didn't really know what to do. I was just like, you know what, they can go to a brewery for an hour and a half or 4 hours, 5 hours, and I'll just go shopping. However, there was this other girl on the trip who she did state that she didn't want to go to a brewery, and I was like, cool, we can do something together. And my idea of doing something together was like, hey, let's just go on a city tour bus. Keep in mind, this was back in January, so we were just like, oh, that's a great idea, we could do that. And so that night when we went back to the hotel, I did not really look at a city tour buses or the prices or whatnot, because usually you can book them same day, because I didn't really know exactly what we were doing. We didn't know if we wanted to do a walking city tour. We kind of thought of it, but it was very cold outside. This was in January, and then we were just like, you know what, let's just do a city bus tour, because it's a great way of seeing the entire city, because the buses will take you to the most popular areas, and then you can see everything and see all the tourist sites and go to the chocolate houses and whatnot. So I just really wanted to do something like that. So the next day, we all got ready to go to Antwerp very, very early in the morning, and on the train to get to Antwerp from Belgium, there was like no Wi-Fi, so I couldn't really check to see the prices of the tickets and whatnot for the city tour bus. So I was like, you know what, we'll just do it once we arrive. And once we did arrive, this girl was like, hey, we're here, let's go try to find one of the tour buses. And one of the other girls on the trip was like, no, let's just look at the Grand Place, let's look at the entire city, and then you guys can go. And honestly, I decided to do that as well, because I was like, let's just take a look around the entire city and see how great everything is, and do some touristy type things, and then we can go to the tour bus. So as stated earlier, we did go to Antwerp very early in the morning, which means we had an early lunch. And while it was lunchtime, that's when I decided to look at the prices of the tickets. And I did find 2 tickets for a bus that was like around 1 p.m.-ish. And so I was like, oh, this is perfect. Because we had lunch that day, I believe, at around 11 a.m., so it was quite early, and I did book a ticket for like a 1 p.m. Trip and whatnot, so that's what we decided to do. So after lunch was over, me and this girl left early, and we were walking to go to the stop where the city tour bus starts, which was actually right next to the train station. And while we were walking around, we noticed there was a lot of construction. Like I said, this was in January. We did not expect this much construction. And it took kind of forever just for us to get to like the first meeting stop point and whatnot. We were just like, okay, this is a bit too much. And we finally arrived. Once we arrived, we saw this big giant green bus right next to where the bus stop was supposed to be. And because there was a sign that said tour buses and whatnot. So we saw this bus and we were like, oh my god, let's just go. Like, this is exciting. We get to tour the city and whatnot. We get in line and we notice that the people in front of us, they are taking out their passports and they're speaking in French. And in Antwerp, they speak mainly Flemish other than French. So we were just like, huh, I wonder what's going on. Now, I am not fluent in French, but I do know a little bit, and I've later found out that, hey, the people in front of us, or the bus that we were lining up to go to, it's actually going to France. It's not a city tour bus, it's going to France. That's why they wanted to see your passports and whatnot. We were just like, no, we almost got to France. Like, we should not be going there. And so we decided to just wait and see when the bus was coming. And we saw this museum. It was like a chocolate house museum. We're like, let's just go to this museum for 45 minutes. Because like the next stop and whatnot, I looked at the website. It was supposed to be around 2:15-ish or 2:45-ish, so we were just like, we have time to kill, let's just go to this museum. So the museum that we went to, I believe, was called the Chocolate House, and unfortunately we did not stay there for the full hour because we were just like trying to get back so we can just go to this bus and, you know, see the entire city. And so we were waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting, and so I asked the two women next to me, because in the area that the city bus stop was at, it was also a stop for like shuttles and the tram or public transport and whatnot. So I asked this woman, I was like, hey, we booked the city tour bus, like, where is it? Do you see it? Do you live here? Etc., etc. So this woman was like, oh, I believe it's gonna come soon. So after we sat there waiting for like almost an hour-ish, we decided, you know what, enough is enough. We're just gonna email them and get our refund back. Honestly, that was not easy to do at all, because in Europe, things are a lot different than here, like business-wise, and, you know, as someone with a business background, I do notice stuff like this. And personally, this is my opinion, I feel like in America, when it comes to customer service, we sometimes bend over backwards for customers, especially the ones that are like crazy and, you know, just say whatever they need to and they act out. We're just like, oh, let's just please the customer. But over there, it's more like, yes, you get customer service, but at the same time, we have our standards, we have our rules. We're not gonna mold them just so you can feel better. And honestly, after working for customer service for so many years and even client services, I was just like, you know what? I normally don't do this, but I kind of have to. I feel like I have a legit case. And so, but doing that, even though the bus didn't show up, was not the easiest thing to do. So I do have my receipts. I did email them to let them know what was going on. And the first email that I sent was actually at the restaurant right after I ordered the tickets, because it didn't say what time the bus was coming. I asked them, I was like, hello, what time does the tour start? And they replied back, oh, thank you for the information provided, da 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 da. They were just like, oh, so it starts at Central Station, Astrid Plein, Perron, I don't know how to say that. But it also listed all the stops, like the zoo, the Diamond District, and then the Museum of Fine Arts, Watergate, the tunnel, and all this stuff. And here is where the tea truly begins. Okay, because the email that they sent me with the time, they were just like, hey, on the voucher, it says what time it starts, because nothing was clear to me. Oh yeah, it did show all the stops, but it didn't say what time it was coming in, so I thought that was confusing, because when I booked it, it said it was like 1 p.m., but like, when I got the confirmation letter, it didn't show me any of that. Eventually emailed me and said, thank you for your email, please find below the route and timetable. So I clicked on this timetable, and this is where things get interesting, to say the least. So in this timetable, it shows a map, and I might put it on the screen. It is kind of hard to read. It shows here, and this is where it gets weird. So in this map, it shows basically the different stops and what time it's going into. The first stop is at 10:30 in the morning. I booked these tickets at like 11 a.m. and then it ends at like 15:30, which is like 7:30 ish. Yes, 7:30. And so I was confused, like, how come I was able to book this, but I'm not even going on the tour? Because the tour technically starts at 10. When I was in Antwerp, I did not see any, like, tour buses. So I thought that was weird. I was just like, how come there's no, like, tour buses? Because normally they operate throughout the day. I was just like, what's going on? So I emailed them back. And then they emailed saying, "Oh, we regret to inform you that the tickets are non refundable as stated in your terms and conditions. We kindly advise that you contact your travel insurance." I did not have travel insurance. They then send me a screenshot of the screen that you like purchase your tickets in, because at the bottom there's a link to see the tour map and timetable, and they sent me a picture of that with that link circled, and I'm like, I clicked on that link, there was no timetable like at all. And then I emailed them back, like, hey, I did look at the times that were listed on the website before I booked it, and the bus still did not show up, which is why I emailed you in the first place. If a tour bus is not coming, then I should not be able to book anything, but I was. This is why I would like my refund. I waited all those times and the bus was still not there. You should not be able to order tickets if people cannot use it. Please help me. And then I got an email saying, "Thank you for your email. We have now contacted our partners regarding your inquiry, and we will get back to you shortly." They then emailed me and were like, "Hey, we have now canceled your order and issued a refund. Please be aware that the transaction may take a few days." And this is the thing that very confused me a lot, is that why am I able to order a ticket for a day that it's not coming? Like, this is so confusing. And as it turns out, there were no tour buses either, because, like, I, me and the group that we were in, we walked all over the city. We did not see a single tour bus. And even if it's a city like Antwerp or Belgium, you should still be able to see the buses, even if they maybe operate once. Because I waited all the times that it says it was available. I waited at 1 p.m., at 2 p.m., and I'm just like, I waited all those times and the bus still did not show up. And I remember seeing something saying, "Oh, this bus does not operate in January." And it's like, why am I still able to book tickets? Because even on the website, when I was looking up tour buses, it said that it was available. Like, why? I obviously emailed them, and by the time I did get the email back that, hey, they're gonna refund me, it was like 6 p.m. and our ticket back to go to Brussels was at like 8 p.m. And I was like at a Starbucks because I was just, trying to use their Wi Fi, and it was just a huge inconvenience. And even though I did go to a chocolate museum, which was a lot of fun, it was only for like 45 minutes. And, we wasted hours just waiting there. But nonetheless, the day did get weirder. We came across a McDonald's that was close to the station. And I told the girl that I was with, I was like, you know what, you should try McDonald's. Because, like, if you are going to a different country for the very first time, you have to try their, like, fast food. I don't typically eat McDonald's, but, like, McDonald's in other countries taste so much better than here in the States. So we were just like, oh, let's try their food. And this girl is vegetarian, and there was a lot more options for her to choose from. So that was good. So yeah, that was good, especially like if you're vegetarian, they're a lot more friendly over there, I think. But I do remember seeing a lot of vegetarian options. I live in the Midwest. There's like barely any vegans or vegetarians here, so I live in the Midwest. There's like barely any vegans. So as I mentioned earlier, this day does get a bit weirder. So after we ate McDonald's, we were like, let's just go shopping. And there was like a shopping mall right next to this McDonald's, because I did like Google nearest shopping mall, and we went in. It was not a good mall. Like, it looked really old and gross. It was just not, it was not cute. Let's just say that. It was not cute. So we were just walking around. Like, I was trying to be happy and be positive. I'm like, oh, look, there's a diamond store. You know, Antwerp is known for their diamonds. And out of nowhere, we hear this man and this woman yell at each other out of nowhere. And we were just like, oh my god, what's going on? And I don't know if the old woman bumped into the older man. No, he was younger. He was like maybe in his early 20s. And then there was an older woman. She was just like, she was old and small. And I don't know who bumped into who, but he was like, they were speaking French too, which kind of helped in understanding what was going on. But he was just like, hey, you're being very rude, you know, you need to respect people. And then this woman was like, oh, you need to respect your elders or something like that. And I don't know where they started cursing. And they started cursing in English, not in French, which I thought was interesting. And so me and this girl were just like sitting down, seeing what's going on, and the security guard comes up. He's like, you can't watch the fight, go downstairs. So we go downstairs and we try to go like in another area of the mall. Turns out they closed down the mall. I don't know if it was because of these two, but like they were being really loud and this mall is not that big. So like there was children listening in and they just ended up closing the whole place. So overall, the day was terrible, but I did get to visit a chocolate museum and I did enjoy the rest of my trip back when we could travel. And once this quarantine is over, I would like to travel even more because sometimes these experiences can be fun and interesting and basically teach you what to do and whatnot. So for some reason it's not letting me film an outro. I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching and I will see you in my next video.